Lake Waiau is the highest lake on the Big Island, and it is the only glacier lake in Hawaii. Lake Waiau stands tall on the slopes of Mauna Kea at 13,025 feet elevation and represents an important cultural site and interesting geological formation. Today, I'm going on a journey to visit the lake. To access Waiau Lake, you have two options. You have the easy one, where you can actually use a four-wheel drive car and park at the high elevation parking lot, walk 0.7 miles and you are at the lake, so you can enjoy it with less of a workout. Now, the harder and longer way is from the visitor center using the Humuula trail, which is about 5 miles to the lake, which ends up with a 10-mile round trip. And yeah, that's definitely a little bit harder and longer. You know, if I'm out here, I have to do a workout, so I'm opting for the Humuula 10-mile loop, so it's gonna be more challenging and more to see. The Humuula trail is not necessarily a hard trail to hike, and is not as long either. However, being starting at high elevation at 9,000 feet and going all the way almost to 14,000, you have quite some elevation gain, and the air gets thinner higher you go, so that is probably the biggest obstacle when you come out and hike. The footing, some places can be slick, a lot of slippery sand, but higher up it gets more rocky, more lava rock, so it is changing. It's probably not the best footing, but one thing you don't want to forget while you're planning to hike out here, to check the weather. I checked the weather yesterday on the mountain forecast website, but I arrived to the visitor center and they have a much better forecast, I feel like, so they told me it's gonna be nice weather. This is the most rain I got here. Yeah, it's not too bad, but it's constantly raining the last couple of miles. They say it can be really foggy later in the day, so I wanna make sure I'm getting back out earlier. Ooh. Somewhere in the high cinder cone in Mauna Kea. When you hike Humuula trail and turn back, you'll see the second and the third highest volcano in Hawaii, Mauna Loa and Hualalai. It's pretty amazing. Higher you get, the views are getting just better and better. I'm not gonna lie, I hate this feeling. I'm going higher elevation, hitting like 11,000, and my legs are starting slowing down. But still cruising, still in the sand. Well, I'm sure some of you ask, Nandor, how is possible you saying that Lake Waiau is a glacier lake when there are no glaciers in Hawaii? Well, you are right, there are no glaciers in Hawaii now. However, 35,000 years ago, there was a glacier on top of Mauna Kea and lasted about 20,000 years. And you can actually read about it down at the visitor center. They talk all about the Mauna Kea Ice Age Reserve. It's a pretty interesting thing. And supposedly Lake Waiau was erupting under the glacier, and that's how the lake actually got created. Now the question is, how is it possible that the lake keeps the water, since all these mountains are volcanic rock, very porous, so just the water will go through it. So one of the ideas is that a sulfurous, this is a hard word for me, sorry guys. So sulfurous steam altered the volcanic ash to a low permeability soil. Wow, that was a handful of sentence. Basically, this is one of the ideas. The sulfurous steam changed the volcanic ash to a lower permeability soil, and this way the water stays. However, I more tend to believe another option, which is they say there is permafrost under Lake Waiau, about 30 foot down. They said there is permafrost. Permafrost, that's another hard word, by the way. I'm not sure if you realized it, but it means like soil and rock which stays frozen like 0 Celsius or 32 Fahrenheit for 2 years or more. So basically it's like in a constant freezing point, and that's why the water stays up there. Well, let me know if you know or you have a better idea what's happening up there. I'm curious. But these are the two bigger guesses. I'm almost at 12,000 feet and the clouds rolled in. It's getting pretty chilly. Probably you can hear that the wind picked up a little bit. It's not terrible, but I feel my hands cold. Yeah. And my water is cold in my backpack, which is cool. Literally cool. And this section you already see Mauna Kea. You can see the cars going up Mauna Kea, and then the other big cinder cone, Puhoakea, I think that's the name. That's the place where people usually snowboard down or ski down when it's snow. So bucket list item. Lake Waiau got its name from one of the 4 winter goddesses, Waiau, who loved to bathe in the lake. The name in the lake in the Hawaiian language means swirling water, which has to do with the belief that Waiau Lake is actually a door, a connector to the underworld. So there is a lot of mana and power around the lake. That's why the lake is sacred. You want to respect it when you go out there. It's a really significant part of the Hawaiian culture. And talking about the lake and bathing, you know, the Hawaiian royalty, the Ali, they used to come visit Mauna Kea up here, and some used to take a bath in Waiau Lake, which must be super cold. And fun fact, the last one was Queen Emma in 1881, who was lastly took a bath in the lake. I'm wondering, she wanted to, she had to, or I don't know, because sounds like a very cold lake to me. By the way, don't try to jump in the lake, it's totally prohibited, so just respect the area, please. Almost there. I'm definitely feeling the elevation. Whew. Alright, this is the intersection with the small trail. I mean, you might be able to see the other parking down there, somewhere there. So you can start from there if you don't want to hustle here. Much easier. So I managed to get up here after just over 3 hours. It definitely got harder at the end, but then the weather turned pretty rough, pretty bad. It's like windy and cloudy, and it's even sprinkling rain. So yeah, up at 13,000 feet it can get pretty cold if there is no sun, and it's definitely gloves time, which I left home, unfortunately. The lake is amazing. It's a beautiful sight. I like to walk around a little bit and enjoy. Pretty quiet, pretty pristine. The thing about this lake is it's really not a big lake, and it's not deep either. They say it's maximum 15-20 foot deep, but it's most of the places around 10. Believe it or not, this lake is almost disappeared, and most likely it's because of drought. It was not enough rain for the lake to fill up in winter time from the snow and the rain from Mauna Kea. I can tell today it's a little bit lower than usual. Even the ranger down there told me, and you guys can see it here. Usually it's up, really up at the rocks here, but now you can see the algae. Oh, by the way, talking about algae, there's two types of algae in this water, and one is green and one is bluish, and then when they die they drop down to the bottom of the lake, and that gives the color. So depending on the season, it's or blue or green, the water, which is pretty cool. I think it's time to go. It's pretty rainy and cold, so I'm getting out of here. I might stop to get some food somewhere else. Hopefully it's sunnier some other places. Well, mahalo for joining me for another adventure. I hope I could show you guys something different today. It's a pretty amazing spot. Yeah, it's definitely worth a visit. Well, thank you guys for watching, and mahalo. See you guys next time. Aloha.